Hello, this is Dr. Christy Patton-Lukes, a chemical engineering professor at Missouri S&T. In this video lesson, we're going to look at using MATLAB to do simple trapezoid rule integration from a data file. This function here is one that I have borrowed from Todd Young and Martin Molenkamp at Ohio University. They published this MyTrap function, which is going to use data vectors, so an x vector for all the x coordinates and a y vector of the y coordinates for that same function. So you're integrating y with respect to x. And this will return the value of the integral. Now in this case, it's going to count the number of terms in the x vector and determine that as n. And then it's going to start the trapezoid accumulator t equals 0. And then we'll count from 1 to n minus 1 and figure out what the area is of the trapezoids. Now it just turns out that the math is easier if you do the average y times the sum or times the delta x, the width of the area, and then do the divide by 2 at the end. You don't have to do it this way, but it does work. And so t is t plus y of I plus y of I plus 1. So we're starting at the first term and ending at the n minus first, but that picks up the nth term, right? So do that little math there when I is equal to n minus 1. And then we're multiplying that times the delta x for those same two pieces. And we'll do that for all of the terms. And then at the end, divide by 2, and it should present the answer. So then what we want to do is actually then come up with our vector of values. Now what I want us to do is integrate, let's do this function here. We're just going to, really simple one, right? Y is the integral from 0 to 1 of x cubed dx. And we know the answer. So we're going to start with something where we know the answer. So x to the 4th over 4 from 0 to 1, and that means my answer will be 0.25. All right, so I know what the answer is going to be if I do this. Let's see if we can get Excel, or not, excuse me, not Excel, MATLAB to come up with this answer for us using our script here. And so I'm going to start by saying x equals, and I want to create a vector. So I want it to do 0 to 1, and I'm going to have it count by 0.1. You can choose something else if you'd rather. All right, so that's going to be 10 intervals. And I'm going to let it show me. So you'll see that it has created this vector of my 10 positions there. And then y is going to be x cubed. Now, because I want it to do this for each term, I'm going to say x dot raised to the power. And that means it'll be doing term by term raising to the third power. I don't want matrix math, right? I'm wanting to do this to each of those x values. And again, just so that we can look and see that it's really doing the math correctly, I'm going to have it show me its answers, and you can scan those, and indeed they do look correct. And so then I'm just going to call my trap of x, y, and I get an approximate answer. Okay? And I could do things like change to a smaller interval. I could change to more complex functions, etc. But the nice thing is I can do this either for data generated from a function, or if I had data from an experiment, I could enter in those values also and have it do the integration. So this concludes our video lesson on the trapezoid rule with MATLAB. In our next lesson, we're going to come back and look at Simpson's rule. Thank you very much for your time.